Hey y'all, Tara May here, and I wanted to discuss one of my favorite movies. That movie is called Demons. Now, this movie was directed by Lamberto Bava. It was produced by Dario Argento. The music score by Claudio Simonetti is pretty cool. It's got Scorpions, Motley Crue, Billy Idol, Saxon, all kinds of bands on there. It gives you a really good 80s vibe, as this movie did come out in 1985. I'd have been 5 years old at the time, but I believe we were I think I was about 7 when we rented it. My mom actually turned it off pretty quick into the film, and I kind of snuck down and watched it by myself. So I have always sort of loved this movie ever since I was a kid because I felt so badass for watching it, and it seemed like nobody else had ever even heard of it where I lived. This movie starts out with people getting this ticket. It's a Metropole. Um, that is the name of the theater, and there's a man in sort of a silver half mask that is passing this out in the subway station, and there's a girl kind of running from him at first, so you get this kind of tension right in the beginning. However, she does wind up taking the ticket from him, and she talks her friend into going to see this movie. Now, none of these people that go into this theater know what this movie is going to be about. They just know it's some new theater giving out promotion and they get a free movie. So you've got a couple that comes in there that they're on their anniversary. They've been married for some time. There's a pimp and two prostitutes. There's a blind guy and his daughter, a young couple making out. A few singles here and there. And you kind of get to know some of these characters just a little bit as we come into the theater scene. There is in the lobby a motorcycle with a figure on it, and he's holding a samurai sword, and he's actually got a mask. Now, one of the prostitutes winds up putting the mask on. The mask nicks her face, and what happens is she starts to become a demon. Now, for some reason, Arrow Video does claim that this is a zombie film if you go and read about their version that they've put out, which does look like a very good version, but it kind of makes me mad that they call it a zombie film because it really isn't. Demons, they go through a physical transformation, and it's not like a zombie thing at all. They actually lose their teeth. New ones kind of come out, in their place that are really, messed up looking teeth. Their fingernails split. They get new ones. Their skin gets kind of like a different texture to it. They get kind of like an oily look to them and stuff. You might see some veiny stuff. This is all done without CGI back in '85, so you're going to see a lot of artistic, physical type of work put into this, and it may look hokey at times, I will admit. However, I still find this style way more attractive than CGI for some reason, because at least the stuff looks like it's really there and you can really interact with it. Um, so that being said, these people start to watch the movie, which turns out about some people that are exploring some ruins, and they actually discover a mask and some kind of saying about Nostradamus. Um, and you see that one of the fellas in the movie actually puts on the mask, and he begins to turn into a demon and get very violent. Meanwhile, the prostitute that had put the mask on, she has made her way into the bathroom, and the thing is just kind of pulsing on her face where the nick was and kind of blows all over the place. So, again, when she turns into the demon, her friend comes, or coworker, as you may say, as they're both prostitutes, comes to check on her and winds up getting her throat slashed pretty good. And then she winds up kind of stumbling around and coming through the screen, which is very symbolic of the events in the movie now taking place right here in the theater as well. Um, as things go, it's sort of, all hell on earth at this point. They realize they're trapped in the theater, and these people have to figure out how to fight off these things and keep from turning into them themselves. This movie, it's got a lot in it. At times, it's going to cut to some scenes outside in the city. And while this may seem disjointed at first, since it's randomly after all this tension's building up, and you see these four kind of punks riding around in a car snorting coke out of an actual coke can with a straw, listening. I believe that's around when Billy Idol's White Wedding kicks in, oddly enough. Um, these people, they wind up going into the theater to hide from the cops. And I guess that leaves one of the doors open. So eventually you'll see that this does wind up going outside of the theater and kind of becoming a global thing. Um, Now, this movie, I don't want to spoil too much, so I won't say much more what happens. I would definitely check it out. It is really good, in my opinion, as far if you like those violent things with sort of creepy, monster creature things that's, a little more humanoid stuff. There's some surprises in there, I would say. Not everybody likes this, not everybody's going to be a fan, but it's just the sort of thing that's right up my alley. And, well, anybody that actually knows me knows I kind of have a thing for demons for whatever reason. Now it has spawned 6 sequels. No, I'm sorry, 5 sequels. Uh, but the last three really, they don't have the theme. They don't have the atmosphere. and they just don't seem to be the same thing at all. I think they were just, like you get with other franchises, capitalizing on the name. But worth noting is Part 2, which definitely has the same theme. It definitely has the same feeling. This one takes place in an apartment building, and as a matter of fact, the demon comes through the TV screen, so you do still see the transition through media into life. Um, this one was not done exactly the same. It is a film by Lamberto Bava, however, and Dario Argento did also present this one. So that may be why that one is so more closely done as a sequel than we have in the later ones. However, I will mention the third one because The Church, it was co-written and produced by Dario Argento, but it was directed by Michael Soavi, who happens to be the one that did Stage Fright and Cemetery Man, and he was the guy that was wearing the half mask in the first one passing out the tickets. Now, if you read some of the trivia and facts on it, you'll find out he didn't actually want this movie to be associated with demons at all, but I believe having that tag and having Dario Argento probably helped make that movie just a little more popular. And most of the time you pick it up, doesn't say Demons 3 on it, but that is in fact Demons 3. This movie is a standalone. You don't actually have to watch the first two to enjoy this movie, as it's not exactly the same. And while I said that makes some of the other sequels bad, it's not true in this one, just because this movie really should have just stood alone. And I think that it is definitely worth checking out. It's some people are restoring something in an old church and discover some crazy stuff that makes demons and stuff like that kind of come out, but not in the same way as the first two. Um, so those are movies I would definitely recommend checking out. And I decided that I like this movie so much, and I'm such a nerd and collector, that I wanted a little piece of the movie. Now, there are masks out there, and there are metal ones. Some of them are Lamberto Bava official masks, stuff like that. Very, very expensive. So unless you've got a lot of money and you're a real big nerd, I don't know that you could afford that. However, there are some artists out there that do make things like this. Now, this looks just like the mask you're going to see in the movie. This one just happens to be not made of metal. And it's not going to nick you and turn you into a demon, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a pretty cool item to get, and I found that on eBay. Somebody recommended it to me, and so I had to pick one up. So I hope you liked my review. I hope it made you want to watch the movie and pick it up. I hope it made you maybe even find out some things you didn't know about it. And if you've got any comments or suggestions, let me know. And my Twitter is Taramae79, Taramae79, if you want to contact me there, or you can leave a comment below. And thank you for watching my video.